that path for you. So you move, and then you hang on to your hat, because even leaving here, gals, even being able to leave a conference like this, well, you can be in for a wild and a wonderful ride with this extraordinary faith that you have learned about the last couple of days, you as his daughter. Alabama's motto, again, to defend our rights. It accompanies an inherent truth that we will defend our rights because that's how things get better. It reminds us that the best is yet to come. That despite our circumstances, despite shattered dreams and things will get better. And I want to give you a little story about how things get better despite some circumstances that perhaps weren't anticipated, perhaps weren't asked for. I'll share with you a little bit about my daughter, Bristol. Do you want to hear about how making the choice to live and ignoring the critics and asking Christ for the forgiveness, for the redemption, asking Christ to take it from here and direct one's path, that can lead to things getting better. How God can exchange beauty for ashes, and how he can turn mourning into dancing with the stars. My daughter Bristol, well, first let me tell you, I was governor of Alaska. I started out as a reporter. After college, got a degree in journalism communications, started out as a sports reporter, then a regular reporter, and then was on city council, elected there for a while, then elected the mayor and the manager of our city, and then was an oil and gas commissioner, and then became Alaska's governor. And I was the youngest governor ever elected, first female governor in our state, very busy with 4 kids who were, just very, very active, especially in sports and their different activities. My husband's commute was 1,500 miles from the governor's mansion in Juneau up to the North Slope oil fields where he worked, and just very, very busy. And in this time as governor, mostly working on energy issues and ethics reform, but getting a lot done there, and things were going well. But, well, in the midst of this, our oldest son, Track, he had just turned 18, enlisted as an infantryman in the Army, and he was headed off to his first deployment in Iraq. He's in Afghanistan today, bless his heart. Bless all their hearts. So really having that on my mind, not only as the governor of the largest state in the Union, Alaska, yes, but there with Track heading off to war, and in the midst of this time, found out I was pregnant. And of course I'm thinking, oh great, first woman elected governor in our state, and I could just imagine some of those old sourdoughs up there going, see, we told you so, we elect ourselves a woman governor, and look what happens, she goes out and gets herself pregnant, now she won't be able to do her job, So, in fact, I was so dismissive of, well, really what I knew was coming with some of the criticism, that I didn't tell anybody I was pregnant until I was 7 months. And up there in Alaska, so cold, getting bigger and bigger pregnant, you just put on more fleece, more coats, and it's through the winter time. So, and then because my son came early, well, I told people that I was pregnant at 7 months. Just a few weeks later, I had him. So to this day, people are saying, see, we told you Trig is not her kid. And we call them Trig truthers, these people who still in mainstream media write this, that he's not my son. They said, because, let's see, she told us that she was pregnant at this time, she had the baby at this time. She was only pregnant for 2 weeks. These are men reporters too, by the way. In fact, being pregnant in this very busy time as governor, I was no spring chicken to start with, after I shared this with Extraordinary Woman in a couple weeks ago in another speech. I said, first thing that I said when I found out I was pregnant, I prayed, Lord, yes, my name is Sarah, but my husband's not Abraham. My name's Todd. Around the same time, in fact, 16 weeks after I had Trig, I get a call from Senator John McCain asking if I want to run for the vice presidential position in the United States of America. So teenage daughter comes to us, and Bristol is, you know, she's one of the good girls. And, you know, she was prom committee chairman and good grades and working real hard and working a lot. I thought she was working so much that she was too busy to do anything else. But she came to us and talked about shattered dreams. She told us that she was pregnant. And, you know, my little world stopped spinning right there because I thought, oh, talk about shattered dreams. I knew that this was a premature ending of her childhood. You know, her life would change. She chose life for her most beautiful son. She chose life, and we're up there, though, literally and figuratively on an international stage, and my teenage daughter has a growing belly on the stage in front of the whole world to see. And people were kind of mean to Bristol through this time, especially some of these liberal reporters who acted like she was the only one in the world to have ever gotten pregnant, you know, before marriage, out of wedlock here. And Bristol had to put up with a lot. It's like these leftist liberal reporters, they ran out overnight and they got a morality transplant. All of a sudden, you know, they knew right from wrong. But, you know, I would try to remind them, well, life happens. And, in our case, in Bristol's case, life's a trip. She named her little boy Trip, and he's just been the absolute light of our life. He's such a joy. But Bristol, throughout, you know, getting a lot of criticism, people calling her a hypocrite because after she had Trip, she started speaking to teens about abstinence. She started saying, just don't do what I did. I love my son. He's the best thing in the world, but I sure wish this would have happened 10 years from now, you know, not as a teenager. She had just a real good practical message, not one to be out there trying to create some sex education policy for the nation. She was just sharing her own personal story, kind of like maybe what, say somebody who smoked all their life and they got lung cancer, then they went out and they started telling people, hey, don't do what I did, otherwise, you know, you may end up with lung cancer. She sort of equated her messaging to that. So she was taken aback by all that she was getting, the criticism, talking about the only 100% foolproof way of not getting pregnant is abstinence. She talked about that, but still taking a lot of heat about it, and kind of some shattered dreams, wondering, well, what is my life going to become if people are always going to be looking at me with just this eye of constant criticism? And then Bristol gets a call from the producers of Dancing with the Stars. And Bristol's telling me about the phone call. I said, Bristol, Dancing with the Stars? And nobody in our family has ever danced before. You know, we hunt and fish and snow machine and hike and all that, but, you know, certainly not really graceful, I wouldn't consider any of us. So I said, what did you tell these producers? And she said, well, Mom, I told them, well, I don't dance and I'm not a star, so sure, I'll go on your show, sure. And I said, oh, Bristol, okay, of course we support you there, but just be prepared because the critics are going to criticize and the haters are going to hate. And she said, exactly, Mom. The critics are going to criticize, haters are going to hate, so you might as well dance. I'm like, right on, what a life lesson right there. So Bristol, up there in Alaska, after getting this call, she loaded up her truck and she moved to Beverly Hills. And her prayer, and she asked me to text all my prayer warrior friends, say, just pray ask them to pray that I make it through the first night. She just didn't want to be eliminated. She made it all the way to the finals. This gal from Alaska, who never danced before, all the way to the finals. And she took her winnings and she bought a house. And then she flipped that house. And then she bought another house that she's fixing up right across the lake from where we live in Wasilla. As a teenager, she was able to do this. And it just, you know, all these practical these manifestations of God, turning mourning into dancing, exchanging beauty for ashes, making things better when you ask for that redemption that he offers and you put your life in his hands. In fact, Bristol's house that she's building now across the lake from us, and the lake is still frozen, it's still so cold up there. That's why we're really glad to be here in Alabama today. This is wonderful. I told Bristol yesterday when I called her, I said, I can't wait till you're in that house, Bristol, and we're close enough, we're we're gonna send smoke signals to each other between our windows, and the first smoke signal I'm gonna try to figure out how to message to you, Bristol, as we're standing there in our kitchen windows, is my favorite toast, and it's, may we always be happy and may our enemies know it.